Italy has to catch up compared to the rest of Europe on this matter.
So Fabio, perhaps we can start by looking at the characteristics of the SME environment and how it's different from the public market for investors.
It's an unconventional environment. So what happens is that both on the cultural level and on the information level, you have a misaligned situation where in one case, there is not a fixed corporate culture, a standardized one, but it's the ownership that forges the corporate culture inside. So you can find places where there are no internal rules, where there's no developed governance. On the other hand, about the information, what is important to understand is that most of the times the financial numbers don't tell all the truth about the company. So when approaching an investment in an SME environment, you need to go on a more close, deeper and personal understanding of the company and how it was built up a long time and how the ownership impacted this process.
And can you talk us through some of the research that you've conducted on SMEs at MPD Partners?
In the past 4 months at MPD Partners, we screened more than 400 companies in the north of Italy. What we found out was that we were able to build a portfolio according to the risk-return profile of the companies. So we see the clear tendency of very good performance for some kind of companies and others that are in distress due, of course, of the lack of liquidity in the system. So you have operative problems in this sense. Then there's the banking crisis situation where banks are not allowed to lend to non-performing companies. And this is the kind of talks that we went through when engaging ownership about long-term strategy and also about their financial strategy. We were able to understand that Italy has to catch up compared to the rest of Europe on this matter. So a company like us can also do an educational role, can also have it in the system, in the Italian system.
And for SMEs, growth is crucial. So what are the key value drivers for growth in SMEs?
This is a really interesting question. In our latest newsletter we issued in August, we are talking about what are the fundamental key value drivers and metrics that allows you to understand how SMEs are growing. We focused on clustering companies according to the return on invested capital because we believe that is a fundamental metric to grasp the adding value ability of a company. So after dividing our companies, the companies we analyzed, into different portfolios, one for distressed company and one for growing companies, we saw that there was a correlation with metrics such as asset growth, capex on sales, revenue increase. For the companies that had a better ROIC, all these indicators allow the companies to perform overall better, and the portfolio itself was high in terms of had a high yield in terms of return, but on the other hand, the risk profile was aligned with the distressed company. This is the sort of misalignment you find in the private market, and is where you can find the opportunity for investors to have returns that are no more in this kind of in the public environment where interest rates are going below zero, and the yield on most of the products is not aligned with the risk profile.
Well, Fabio, it was a pleasure to have you here in our studios today. Thank you. Well, that's all from myself and Fabio, but for all the latest updates and exclusive market moves, do keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV.